Hey guys, haven't seen you here in a while, but I can do this. Hey guys, haven't seen you in a while. Hey guys, haven't seen you here in a while, but we're glad to be here with you. We're not. We're here with you though. Hey guys. Stop laughing at me. Hey guys, haven't seen you here in a while, but hey, we're glad to still have service. We have a couple announcements for you coming up. First off, stay tuned after this video for Zoom codes. The Zoom codes will be at the bottom of the screen. Second, at the end of this month, on December 15th, we have Instagrammies. So what we need you guys to do for that is to make a video that's at least 1 minute long, and it could look something like this.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm Cameron. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm TJ.
And we're
Your backyard friends, the backyard again.
She see money all around me. I look like I'm the man.
3 round turkeys, big and fat, went to a diner to have a chat. The cook in the kitchen said, look at that. 3 round turkeys, big and fat. See ya later. Alligator said, 1 round turkey, and that was that. Two round turkeys, big and fat, went to a diner to have a chat. The cook in the kitchen said, look at that. 2 round turkeys, big and fat. See ya later. Alligator said, 1 round turkey, and that was that. One round turkey, big and fat, went to a diner to have a chat. The cook in the kitchen said, look at that. 1 round turkey, big and fat. See ya later. Alligator said, the last round turkey, and that was that.
You guys can make any video you want. We'll fit it into a category. Just make sure to send it to tbrooks@northcoastchurch.com, which will be here somewhere. It needs to be at least a minute long. Hopefully try and make it a minute long, and send it before December 13th. We can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Now we're gonna head into some worship.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Oh, fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born. Truly he taught us to love another Father, His law is love, and His gospel is peace. Chains shall He break, for the slave is a brother, and in His name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His holy name. Oh, fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine. Oh, night divine.
Hey guys, we're going to start a brand new series this week, but I wanted to think about this. How many of you guys start celebrating Christmas like right after Halloween? Like you eat the candy and then the very next day you are Christmas music, the tree is ready to go, you are Christmas cookies, maybe your sweater, whatever, you are ready for Christmas. You know, around that time of year, Michael Bublé and Mariah Carey make this miraculous reappearance that we haven't thought about them all year long, but they've got those Christmas songs that we just can't not listen to. Justin Bieber's Christmas album, all of that. We get so excited about Christmas, but let me just stop you there for just a second. For some of us, we celebrate Christmas way too early. In my opinion, you can't just skip over Thanksgiving. I know there's no songs about Thanksgiving. I know there's like one movie, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, or The Big Turkey, or whatever. That's The Big Pumpkin. Whatever. We get caught up in those things. But I also want to make sure that we understand. Advent is what we're going to be talking about this year. Advent is something that happens 4 weeks leading up to Christmas morning. Now, for some of you, you're like, okay, I've heard Advent. Or maybe you're like, I've never heard of Advent. But for my kids, you know, they've got Advent calendars and things like that. But if you ever wondered what Advent is, we're going to talk about it over the next few weeks. And here's what the definition of Advent is. According to Oxford English Dictionary, it's this: the arrival of a notable person, thing, or event. But it also notes in referencing Christian theology or the church. And it says this: the coming or second coming of Christ. Right? Now, for those of you that have heard the word Advent before, you probably think about Christmas time, and maybe when you think of a Christmas message that you've heard, it's probably about sweet baby Jesus being born in a manger, in a barn with the animals, or maybe you think about the angels showing up to the shepherds and declaring that Jesus is born, or the wise men following the star, or even the angels showing up to Joseph and saying, hey dude, don't divorce Mary, there's something even bigger going on, even though she's pregnant. I know it's not yours, but just trust us, is a good thing. For so many of us, we think about those messages, which is all Christmas, right? Which is all part of Advent. But in this series, I want us to have a different view of it. I want us to think of Advent a little bit different this week. And here's what I mean. If we look back to the Oxford Dictionary definition of Advent, and we look to the second part, it says the coming, or second part, the second coming of Jesus. You see, so many times we get so caught up in sweet baby Jesus and that story of Mary and Joseph that we forget what Advent actually means, or maybe we've never realized. But it's also talking about the second coming of Jesus, right? This story is a little bit different than the one that we always think about and always talk about. It's talking about some of those stories. We usually think back again to the manger and Mary and Joseph, and that is the first coming. But equally important is the second one. But it's also this time of year that the church starts talking about the coming, and the one we don't talk about as much, right? Because for many of us, we never really think about the fact that Jesus is coming back. You know, when it comes to Christmas time, we always just, get stuck in that one. But here's what I want us to do over the next few weeks. I want us to flip our view, right? That story of Jesus is an incredible story, and I don't want us to forget about that. But this week, I want us to just flip a little bit and think about that there is something even bigger coming that we don't realize. There is something amazing that is on its way that we don't think about. There is something that will be here for us that gives life. There's something absolutely incredible. So here's what I want us to do. I want us to focus on the second coming, and I want us to open our Bibles right now to Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. Now, this is traditionally thought of as an Advent reading. So while you get your Bible, Matthew chapter 24, verse 36, I want us to dive into this. We're really going to talk about the second coming, and we're going to dive into Advent. So here we go. It says this. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is what it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with the handmill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at the time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Okay, really quick, I want to just highlight this for just a second. If you're reading a physical Bible or even digital, you'll probably notice that all of those words and letters and all of that is in red. Now, what does that mean if you're new to church? It means this. Red letters mean Jesus is speaking. Now, I know that seems, who cares? But when Jesus speaks, what should we do? We should listen, because it's probably really important, because Jesus only lived so long of a life, so the things that he said in that life are very important, right? That's why it's in red letters, so we should definitely pay attention. Now, Jesus is clearly talking about Advent here. So, you know what I'm saying? Because when we talk about the coming and the second coming, he's talking about the second coming, when he's about to come back at some point. And he references multiple times to the Lord and the Son of Man, right? He references that multiple times, that it's the Lord and the Son of Man. Now, think about this. Jesus is the Son of Man, and he's speaking, but what he wants us to understand is something so much bigger than I think we realize. You see, if you've known that Jesus is coming again, or maybe you didn't, that's news to you. Jesus is coming back. But he really wants us to understand and focus on in this conversation, and when he's telling his disciples, is something that's oftentimes overlooked. It's the fact that we won't know when Jesus is coming. You see, for a second, I want us to think about that. We won't know. Let's think about the first time he came. A lot of people knew, right? The wise men, there was a star that told them. The angels appeared to Joseph. The angels appeared to the shepherds, right? People knew. Not everybody, not the whole world. It wasn't broadcast, wasn't tweeted, anything like that. But there were some people who knew. But what he's saying here is that no one will know. It even says that I will not know, only the Father will know, right? And so what he means by that is this one's going to be different. Now, why is that important? Why is it such a big deal that we won't know? Well, he talks about a thief coming to your house. Imagine this. If you knew that someone was coming to break into your house, wouldn't you be ready? If you knew, hey, tomorrow night, a thief is coming to our house, wouldn't you stand ready because you know it's coming? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy, right? If you knew that something was about to happen, you'd be prepared for it. But what if you knew something was coming, but you didn't know when? How long would you stay prepared for? How long would you be ready? How long would you be on guard? You see, that's what Jesus is trying to prepare his disciples for. He's trying to help them understand that, hey, listen, I know that you don't know when I'm coming. I don't even know when I'm coming. But what I need you to do is have your hearts ready and keep your guard up. Right? At some point, I will be back. And what I need you to do is I need you to stay fast and stay ready. Because you see, over time, what will happen is we begin to kind of do our own thing. We forget that we're called to love like Jesus did. We, we forget that we're called to love our God more than anything. what if Jesus showed up tomorrow? How would your heart be? What if Jesus showed up in a week? Would your heart be ready? What if Jesus showed up when you least expected it? Because that's what will happen. Is your heart going to be ready? Are you going to be prepared for when Jesus arrives and says, hey guys, we're going home? Or are you going to fall short? Or are you going to fall into temptation and begin to live the life that you want and forget what we're called to do, which is love our God and love people? If Jesus showed up tomorrow, would you be ready? That's such a big question that I want us to understand today. Because I think oftentimes we just get tired. And we just think, you know what? Jesus will show up at some point and we'll make it all work. You know, for some of you, you go, hey, I'm gonna live the crazy life that I want to live now, and then at some point I'll figure it all out. But again, if Jesus is gonna show up when none of us know, it could be tomorrow, the day after, the week after. Are you gonna be ready for that? You see, I remember in junior high and high school when you'd go to an assembly, right? Sometimes it was like the beginning of school year, whatever, and they would ask like these really weird scenario questions or throw out different statistics. And I remember when I was in high school, they would throw out things like this, like only 1 in 3 of you would graduate high school. And none of us really knew if that was true, but all of a sudden you start kind of looking around like, and you start like counting like, all right, well, that loser's not going to graduate. All right, well, that guy's too dumb, right? And then you start thinking, and you're like, all right, well, I'm the third, I'm good, right? Or for some of you, you've heard the one where they say, 1 in 10 of you will get deep into drugs. And you're like, 2, 3, 4, dang it, I'm one of them, And you start thinking, but I want us to kind of have that same mentality about the people around us as well. You see, when Jesus talks about stay ready, when you look around, I don't want to use scare tactics, and I want you to think like you've got to count, like, all right, I'm one of the 3, I'm fine. No, I want you to think through, though. If your heart is ready, are the people around you? Right? Are you continuing to live a life of Jesus and loving people and loving your God? But then I also want you to look outside of that and look at the people next to you. Are they ready if Jesus were to show up tomorrow? Are you going out and loving people in a way that is getting them ready for Jesus? Now, what I'm not saying is it's on you to make sure that their hearts are ready. Everyone makes their own choices. But in this Christmas season where it's about caring for others and loving people, have you gone and told people about the love of Jesus? Have you brought them to church? Have you told them about your God so that way their hearts can be ready? Or have you just said, well, it's up to them to figure it out? If Jesus showed up tomorrow, is your heart ready? And beyond that, are the people around you, are their hearts ready? For a moment, I want you to just close your eyes right there, wherever you're at. And I want you to really think about your school, think about your friends, your family, your neighborhood, your community, whatever that looks like. And are your hearts ready? See, Advent is an amazing time for us to reflect and refocus and really tune into what God has planned for us. And yes, this season is about sweet baby Jesus showing up in that manger and then Jesus living an incredible life. Absolutely, don't forget that. But tonight, I want us to think about refocusing to the second part of the definition, to the refocus of Jesus coming a second time. And if he were to show up, is your heart ready? Or are you just so in the motions of this world and the life that you want to live that you're not? See, and here's the scariest thing, is none of us know if our hearts will be ready when Jesus shows up. If we go back to Matthew chapter 24, at the very end, it says, therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known what time the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So also you must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you will not expect him. We won't expect it. We won't know. There's not a star in the sky. There's not wise men coming to travel to tell us. There's not some tweet that's going to go say, Jesus is here. It's one of the scariest parts. It's just that we can't prepare. For me, as I've kind of grown up, I now am a preparer. Whether it's a trip, whether it's some big life decision, whatever, I prepare and I come up with all these things to make sure things are good and things are going to work out the best way possible. But we can't know what's coming. But we can prepare by getting our hearts right, by keeping our guard up, and beyond that, by loving people around us so their hearts can be ready as well. Guys, as we dive into this Advent series and this Advent season, don't forget the love that Jesus has for you and that Jesus was born this month. But I also want us to focus on the fact that Jesus is not gone and it's done. Jesus is coming back. There is something absolutely incredible and great that is coming for us. But we got to prepare. We got to get our hearts right. We got to keep our guard up and not fall into the temptation of the world, but continue to love people around us, move closer to Jesus every day, and be ready. Love you guys.
Wasn't that a great message? Thanks, TJ. Make sure to tune in to Zoom, our Zoom small groups. The guys' code will be over here, and the girls' code will be over here.